So I'm live. So I'm
Hey
talking.
man,
I'm talking.
Haileybury.
Hey, Savio. I'm testing out the audio. Are you able to go to your
It was a dark
Are you able
and
to go to your
stormy night.
computer and see what it looks like
I can
and see
check
how
right
I'm coming
now.
through?
What are you at?
Uh,
You're on YouTube?
yeah, I'm on the YouTube.
Get my glasses on
Yeah.
there so I
So
can plug in there.
Savio, you need to get this place set up to be a YouTube studio. On the sunny days when the sun comes through there,
It's pretty bright in
it
here, I'll
would
tell
be
you.
it would be bright and it would be a really nice set. Very
It's
you got all the
the
staging.
sun as soon as it comes up over the lake over here.
Yeah.
It comes right across the
Take people on
on
lake
the outside
tours.
of the windows.
Yeah. Go on lake tours.
So
The traffic outside, does it bother you?
I barely hear it.
Yeah. Eh? I bet you there's not that many cars that go by.
The only time people go by is when they're going to work in the morning,
Yeah.
right? And when they're heading back to go at home at night,
Yeah.
right? So it's pretty quiet right now, but at about 3 o'clock it's going to start.
There's like a little rush.
All of the kids come
Yeah.
home from the school, right?
School kids.
And then now you got the slippery roads out as well.
Oh yeah, and you guys got a lot of snow here, because there's not that much snow outside of this particular Cobalt.
No way!
Yeah.
Whoa, it's been snowing here for like 2 days.
Well, I'm sure there's snow, but it's not as like this morning when I left Toronto, there was like no snow, obviously.
Oh, nothing down there. No,
Yeah.
it's just like a little salt.
And North Bay there, but North Bay there was probably snow. Huntsville there was probably snow.
Yeah,
Snow belt,
I
right?
expect, everything.
But here it looks like you guys
first,
have gotten a lot fast. You know, without
like,
any, yeah,
since
not able to keep up to it.
November, beginning of November, it started snowing here pretty good. And then remember and stay, it was a pretty good sprinkle that came down. It was nice during the celebration there.
It was cold there for a bit, right? Minus 25, minus 30. Just recently?
Yeah, it was, but you just sort of get set up for it. And you're fine, It's,
Oh, you get acclimatized.
it wasn't like you got wet. When you get
Right.
wet, then you get cold.
I agree. Right? If you dress for it, man, there's nothing funner than being outside on a cold
they
day.
had, they had some nice.
But you have to be
little
dressed for it.
bonfires. They had set up some bonfires.
Yeah.
With, some big fire pits in the middle of the street. So it was nice what they had. And then they had a plane coming flying overhead.
There's nobody's ice fishing yet, though, right?
Not yet, no. When there's the huts are probably going to go up
Yeah.
pretty soon. I mean, January they'll be up there until March.
Do you think that people catch a lot of fish and then do they eat it? Do you think?
None of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because then you should get yourself a fishing license and get yourself some fish, man.
Yeah. There's they say there's people go and they don't fish the fish out of the lake over here because there's a lot of the animal runoff that comes in. They go to some of the other small little spots, like when you go to Bass Lake.
I see what you mean.
It's a spring fed,
Right. Because this is a farming area, so there's going to be a lot of manure in the water,
and fertilizer, everything else,
and the fish get into that.
The fish get into it. They grow really quickly, and then they get
You're
a lot
right.
of worms,
When you're right, man. Yeah.
So you can't eat.
It's more of a sport.
Bigger fish, you got to get them when they're a little bit.
There's a certain size. I've seen that chart there somewhere. If they're this size, you can eat them.
Fish over there. I've seen some 5-pound smallmouth bass coming out of that place there, and I'm sure they're bigger as well.
Well, people just like to show off too. Look at me fishing. I got. I see people everywhere.
It's a pretty healthy lake. I'll tell
Everybody
you
who
that. You can see
fishes
lots
has a
of
picture of
frogs.
them
Every
with a
time you see
fish.
a frog in a lake, it's a healthy lake.
You're right.
Right?
You're right again.
Lots of bullfrogs when you go through Temagami there. You go to all those small little lakes along the side there. There are always little frogs everywhere. There's when there's frogs and there's At least, at minimum, there's going to be catfish, right? But
Yeah,
more
I never
likely
thought
than
of it
not,
that way. I never thought of it that way. When you go fishing, you got to consider, like, if you were a fish, where would you hang
oh
out?
yeah, like you could
Where's the food?
the best ones that I've seen that catch are probably minnows and
But there's a lot of
worms.
dead zones,
But
man.
when you go and throw in a little cricket,
Yeah,
like a little grasshopper in there,
yeah, yeah.
within like 2 minutes the thing's dead. But within 2 minutes something's gonna eat it.
So could you do that as a fisherman?
Well,
Lure
that's what I do.
lure the
It's fun, but
fish
it's
with
kinda crickets.
with crickets on the water, and then you have one on the lure, and then once they eat like 2 or 3, then they go to see yours. They're
Oh,
all
you go
fun.
and throw the dead ones out, and then you attract them that way.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
thought of that either.
Yeah, but you have to
Like
get
using
I mean,
lures.
You're gonna probably go through a good 50 in an afternoon.
You know, what'd be funny is if you could use like sexy fish, like whatever a fish finds attractive, you know, say, you get one of those things, lures.
Other small fish.
You'd have to really understand
it's
fish,
a,
man.
A sushi festival that's out there, isn't it?
Yeah. And I bet you fish have different behaviors for different times of year, because obviously when they're doing their mating and their reproduction they're in a different zone, man. I could be
Yeah,
wrong
think
about
they're
that.
Mostly dormant right now. They're a lot of them.
Well,
asleep.
that's the thing. The thing is that
You gotta be
they have a
around
cycle,
about,
and
you can put a pond out there, but you got to put it, have it about 8 feet deep, right? You can keep the fish out there all year.
it's not practical to do that.
Well, if you want to.
But it would, fish.
I'm going to put one out, but it's
There's a
only gonna be about
the expense
40
of
feet
doing that
deep,
is a
right?
lot better. That money would be better spent by
Well, it
supporting
depends on
a
the
conservatory or
of your
something.
space, I got a little spot that I'm filling in right now. There's I've set it up so that I gain about 4 feet of nice flat sort of deck space, right, by filling in some hills and mounds.
Oh, yeah.
I left a spot for a nice little pond, right?
But you can't. It's going to be more like an aquarium. You're not going to raise fish to eat them.
Oh no, but you can.
Do you know what? It'd be a good idea. I've seen this.
I'm sure
I've seen on
it's fun
this on the
having
dope
some
TV.
wild local fish that you can show and see how they react to. They're probably going to be all grown up by the end of the year. You'll just release them out into the water. They'll be eaten up by something. There's I'm sure there's a lot of pike that are out there. There's a lot of some of the bigger fish out there.
You're right. Fishermen don't talk about where they fish. They just tell you that they like to fish, and they usually leave so bloody
As soon as
early.
you get a topography, of the space, you can tell where all the good spots are. Gonna
I know,
be,
but
right?
this is the
When you're looking for a good spot, it's probably about between 10 and 20 feet of water.
Tell me if this is a good premise for a joke.
Okay.
You're back in the olden days, on the frontier, and you're
Never
married,
found one.
and you and your wife are sitting in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and you're getting horny because you want to kind of get it on with your wife. So you go up to her and you say, "Honey, do you think you could use a little bit of help around here?"
All channel.
And then another premise.
There you go. Let me see if this is you. Oh, there you go. Visiting Haileybury.
Yeah.
Oh, there I am. Oh yeah, you're live.
So are you? Did you play it?
It's on there.
Can I see? Why do you like that?
Oh, thanks for coffee, buddy.
Don't sweat, man. Okay.
I got my yellow jacket up over there.
It says one person is.
for
Press the
my
like
first
button. Press the like button. It just went.
solidarity with,
Fuck, you see how fast that was, man? Boom. Did it.
it's
9
kind of
minutes.
a delay that's in there, right?
Are you able to chat?
No. Yeah, there's like about a 5-second delay in here.
Live chat.
So So yeah, they just asked me to press the like button now. So, oh, I unliked it, and I liked it. Do I got a choice between what kind of likes? No, it's either a like or an unlike.
How do you
Uh,
send a message, man?
on this, I don't see where the messages are. When I'm on
You
the
can't.
laptop, I see them. They come up, but I'm using
Can I see it?
an Apple right now. So I'm using Safari to go in there for the application, right? If I probably had the YouTube app downloaded, I would probably give me some more options.
What do you mean YouTube app?
So like the application for YouTube, you can download.
Oh, the app. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So you're not on the app. You're in on.
I'm using that through the browser.
Yeah. How come you don't have the app? You just.
I don't have a lot of stuff that's on there. I kind of deleted everything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate that because you know what? Some of these apps they suck.
Like
If you're not
Facebook,
using it, there's no
I
point to
used
cut.
a couple of applications for Facebook.
Yeah, I agree.
For live streaming and that.
Yeah.
And they used to have a great little application that they were running inside of the main frame where they actually pinpoint where you were on a globe map when you were going live. So you could have like the whole of North America.
And it would just be a you
could see
in Nebraska
there were
somewhere.
probably 100 different people live streaming all at the same time. So you could go.
That'd be fun though if you had like a board upon which to see where all your people that were listening to you.
Right. I mean, looking for it. The last thing that I remember using it last year.
That would be an awesome app.
And I did it once, and that's when I found out that the live map options, but they must have disabled it, or somehow they've changed their algorithm.
If you were gonna do a tagline for if you were,
especially for China, can you imagine the somebody's live streaming in Chinese and telling them what's actually going on over there? There a lot of dissidents would probably get. It's one way to quiet them. Right?
I know, but guess what's gonna happen, Savio?
Silence the voice.
They're gonna create this search engine for China that's gonna be very, very like censored, and then they're gonna create.
It's gonna be individualized.
It's gonna be so successful that
at some point
that the United States government's gonna say, "Hey, let's try that over here," just to get everybody in line, right?
I don't know if the government's gonna do that. I think just private people are gonna do that.
I know.
If you can control the way people think, all of a sudden they'll be buying your product for a premium instead of buying the same product with a different, with a different flag on it, as it were. How many people are going to be buying a product because it's European, because they think it's a better quality? In some cases it is, especially for baked goods. But,
I was talking to an advertising guy on Saturday.
yeah.
He's the buyer for General Motors. Supposedly his account, the General Motors account's the biggest buyer of advertising, and his job is to go and buy space in different magazines and media.
I think General Motors did a lot of bad stuff there. There's going to be a lot of bad segments.
Well, he says there's a lot of bad decisions being made, but he's got a great job. That's where I was going with that.
Think about how many people do you know that actually need a car? Most people don't want to use a car. Most people are in the city and they don't want to use a car.
That is the crux of the problem right there.
It's going to cost you like $400 a month to park your car.
Yeah, but we've evolved from having a culture of horse and buggy to having a means of transportation to creating an economy with the automobile to the point where transportation has become a commodity. So now you don't really care about the car, you care about transportation is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
If we can get to where we're going on a streetcar, we won't bother using our car. You know, especially if there's parking involved.
Yeah.
It's going to take you 20 minutes to drive. It's going to take you 40 minutes to take on your on the subway.
When you look at the percentage of city compared to the rest of the country, it's like not even 1%.
Right, but the thing is that you have to set yourself up in life,
there's
we don't do that.
Live in that other 99% of the country. Right?
Yeah, but we're not all one big happy family trying to hold hands here.
No.
We're just trying to eke out a survival.
I think if you're talking 100 years ago, the percentage of people that were living out in the country was a lot greater.
When I was a kid, Savio, nobody had 2 cars. When I was a kid, nobody had 2 cars. No family had 2 cars.
Yeah, well, the husband and the
You
wife,
guys in Toronto, but up north we never had
if,
that.
both of them were working, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
Can you imagine what it was like to take TTC 20 years ago?
40 years ago, 50 years ago.
I remember taking it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it would take you 4 times as long to get there.
Right,
by
but
TTC
also
than in
we
real
weren't
life.
carrying out around a
Now
phone.
people use
We had bikes.
Right.
We had our bikes. We had bike locks,
Yeah.
and sometimes we told ourselves that.
There's a lot of times where those bikes that never were there when we got back as well.
That becomes problematic if you live in a crime-ridden area, right? You'll be deemed to be a criminal
Or at least
yourself.
the front tire wasn't. And
Or you'll
then
be
you
a
have to
victim
leave
of
it there,
crime.
and then by the time you left it there for 2 or 3 days, it's hard to get a tire. Right? A tire sometimes costs you more than the whole bike.
Well,
Huh? Well, it's just-
things have changed in the last 30, 40, 50 years in my lifetime.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember everything was regimented in the sense that my
Well, you couldn't
my
get
parents
parts.
went to the grocery store once a week.
How many people recycle?
The
their
grocery
parts?
store had a department store next door to it.
You go to
And a hardware
go to
store?
a scrapyard or a junkyard, and you find like stuff that you can probably like a bike that you could probably drive right out of.
Yeah, but the economy was doing so good back then
Yeah.
that the hiring manager at the paper mill would come to the pool hall to hire people.
Everything was like you go to a supermarket, and you'd be able to buy like apples for 2 or 3 cents a piece.
The economy was rolling.
Yeah.
Money
There's
was
a lot more fruits
money
and
was
vegetables.
filtering through a lot of hands,
It was- it
in the
wasn't
same spot.
selection, but
It
there
was,
was a lot.
it was called the velocity of money. It was exchanging hands and staying in the community.
The longer money's around, it seems the less it gets to be worth.
Well, money has no really intrinsic value in and of itself. It's just what it is. It's called a spell. It's like an abracadabra.
I think what you're doing with money these days is you're using it as a commodity.
That's all it is.
Right?
It's actually just labor. It's a storage of labor.
It is, and there's not a lot of people that want to do labor these days.
No, the thing is
You know?
it's not only
Plus,
there's labor and then
you
there's labor.
consider
No, I'm
two
ta-
things
it's,
that
not all
come
labor is
up.
physical
You
though.
consider pensions and healthcare.
Yeah.
I just heard this one stat from New York City. So they owe $100 million
Yeah.
just in healthcare benefits. Right
Well, they're gonna. You know what?
$100 million.
They'll keep paying those benefits to the point where they're going to end up killing people that are still healthy.
How much is money worth when there's already a debt of $100 million just in one city?
Hey man, we're all day to day,
And that's where everybody wants
but
to go.
it's never been better.
Like what was just Lionel talking about?
Diseases are
He was
being
talking about
cured.
everybody wants to go to 2 cities. They
Yeah.
don't want to go to,
New York and D.C. Those are the 2 cities that people want to be in.
Yeah. Huh?
So they're going to have to pay for it.
I mean, when you're looking at Toronto, you're looking.
But you know what they're going to do? They're going to make things uncomfortable.
In a nice part of Toronto, you might be paying $4,000 a month to rent a house out.
I know. There's a guy at work right now
it'd be a fair-sized
who's
house, but
who's paying for that.
$4,000 a month. That's quite a bit. That could be somebody's whole mortgage for the whole year. Quite honestly, I remember paying my mortgage was like $130 when I first bought it.
Yeah.
Which is like it was cheaper than rent.
Sure. Well, I was thinking about that this morning about my small mortgage payment that I do every month.
Yeah.
It's a hotel room. It's a fancy hotel room for one night. So like, why would I ever sell my house, man? It's shelter.
That's why houses are still going up. But I mean, like they were talking about, there's who's actually moving in there. And
I'm not.
if
what?
China's going to be as successful as it's supposed to be in the next 10 years, how many people from Toronto of Chinese descent are going to stick in Toronto?
Well,
why wouldn't they go to China? If there's going to be, because there's going to be a lot more jobs there. Like think about IT that they're developing over
You're
there.
right.
But there's that news broadcaster guy. He's an IT guy.
Let me tell you how this is gonna. Let me tell you how it's gonna play out.
And tells him he looks like a professional news broadcaster, but he is like a Max Headroom, talking head.
Let me tell you how it's gonna play out. Yeah. These fancy pants Chinese that are the rich guys. They're going to come to North America. They're going to come to North America, and they're going to get themselves a Chinese wife who speaks English perfectly.
Like a lower middle class.
And she's going to go
wanting to be
like a queen, like a princess.
And they're just creating a market for it.
It's great, man. Because in China they have they don't have enough women for the guys, so it's problematic. But the guys are very successful, so they're gonna wanna with their money they're gonna wanna have a nice caring wife.
Yeah.
And
that's just it.
have children and family. So if you were a billionaire Chinese, wouldn't you come to North America to get your wife? I sure would.
People that just want to be happy. Everybody needs to be rich because it's an easy way to be happy.
Yeah, you're right. I bet you for some people, those high rollers, who spend like $1,000 an hour just breathing, not because they're hooked up to anything, because that's their burn rate.
Then you're getting into an adrenaline.
Do you know what the burn rate is?
And now that they figured out how to increase your endorphins by watching a monitor.
Yeah.
They're able to control a lot of people, They get an endorphin kick when they get a like on their Twitter account.
Oh yeah, if there's anything to that, it's not affecting me because I'm not.
A lot of people have sort of.
I'm not getting a lot of attention, so
that, right?
I haven't had that happen.
But then you get you have that withdrawal of not having that instant satisfaction. You gotta create it in some other way. Have some sort of like a creative outflow to get yourself set up to receive those same endorphins. Whether you do it, nobody goes and really reads anymore. Everybody goes and glances.
Right, because we're suspicious about what we're reading too.
Form an opinion.
I know, but
like a CNN
we're also suspicious about
media opinion because they can easily talk a talking point. They can
That's what I mean.
Have a conversation with somebody.
It's exactly it. We're suspicious. Suspicious about what the fuck is being said or being written.
You just become accustomed to hearing the talking points. Like you automatically go and reach.
Oh yeah, so you're saying you don't go in depth.
Yeah. Who's gonna read honestly, who's read War and Peace and the
people with high IQs.
Yeah.
You have to have you have to have an IQ of at least 140 to be able to figure that one out.
To go through that, you also need to be able to read about, at minimum 100 words.
Plus, you need to be able to sit still
I can sit pretty still,
and read. Sit still and read.
I lose concentration when I'm reading.
Exactly.
Because I get sidetracked. If I'm not understanding the whole.
So, what would be the optimum?
Now with the internet, you can. Put that on hold and go and figure out what you don't know.
The thing with the internet is you have information there that you can always have access to. So there's no reason to commit it to memory.
Yeah, it's being able to discern how do you get that Cole's Notes version, but the correct Cole's Notes version. It's not like my version or your version. It's like an unbiased view, and there's no version that's out there that's like that, right?
Right.
You know,
It's hard to come up with your own opinion when everybody's
Wiki,
opinion sounds so good.
Yeah. Or like all of the wiki series out there where you know, people go and edit the content as it goes on.
Right.
Is about as close as it gets. You know. Well, how do you go and do that when AI is going and writing a lot of the stories right now? You know, they can probably go and generate, you know, a story.
I'm gonna cut it out here.
Now.
I'm gonna turn this off because I don't want to blow all my bandwidth
Battery life.
and battery and all that jazz.
Yeah. You know, like to be a